Going to do something a little bit differently here. Here are 11 reasons why I know Joe Biden is going to win in November. 11 reasons. Trump is tied in polling, even though people aren't paying attention. Now, I know that sounds like, whoa, things are really close. But historically speaking, people wake up in the fall. They're not paying attention right now. And so though Trump is tied right now, when people wake up, they're going to be like, oh, it's Trump and Biden? Trump? What? He's a convicted felon? What? And he's never gotten more than 47% of the vote ever. So he's done nothing also to increase his support. Number two, Trump has nowhere to grow. Like I said before, Trump never got more than 47% of the vote. He got 46% of the popular vote and 46.8% of the vote in 2020. And since then, what has he done to increase his base, to find new voters? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. I mean, you can see him trying to find new voters when he went to the Libertarian Convention and spoke. I feel that was the first time a presidential candidate who was not a Libertarian spoke there. And the reception was not great.
The Libertarian Party should nominate Trump for President of the United States. Whoa.
Number three, people don't know that Donald Trump caused Roe v. Wade to fall. A lot of voters are low propensity, that's a nice way of saying low information, and they are not clued into news like you and I are. And so there will be a massive campaign to let voters know it was Donald Trump's judges on the Supreme Court that caused that decision. It hasn't happened yet. And right now, Republicans aren't being conservative or moderate around this issue. They are going hard, and they want to get rid of IVF. They want to ban abortion statewide. Donald Trump has even hinted at banning it nationwide. So this is a terrible issue for them. And it's also an issue that Democrats have used to win across many states, and in Kansas to Ohio to where it's now on the ballot in Florida. Abortion has been a vote that has crossed party lines. And I think we're going to continue to see that. And Biden's got that vote. Number four. The convictions matter. They matter. A recent Ipsos poll, here it is. I'm not going to bore you with having to go through it. But they found that 9% of Republicans, 32% of independents are less likely to vote for him because of the conviction. Additionally, 23% of independents said the conviction was, quote, very important to the vote, and another 7% said it was somewhat important. That's only going to increase over time. I think this is not a thing that exists in a vacuum. As people realize the choices are clearly between Biden and Trump, things like this are going to matter. And let's see what happens with the Supreme Court, because it's my belief that they're going to obviously not rule that he's immune from prosecution. And let's see if that DC trial happens. There might not be a conviction before November, but it could be that trial starts to take off in the fall. And I think that's something to look out for. Number five, at every single special election, Democrats have overperformed. And I know we like to talk about polls. Polls are very fun because they little hints at what could happen in the future. But the past is more instructive because the past predicts the future. The past is showing the best poll, which is the vote. And when people show up to vote between a Republican and Democrat, the Democrats win. Number six, Donald Trump underperformed his polls in the primaries. It is my belief that polls have been reformulated to overemphasize Trump support that's not there because they didn't want another 2016. But we have seen since 2016 that polls, when they are, as they're concerned to Trump, do not reflect reality. And the primaries were another proof case of that. Number seven, inflation is under control. Now, I know there's going to be a lot of people in the comments saying things are still expensive. Well, that's how inflation works. Things get more expensive and then they stay that way. But as it pertains to the rest of the world, the U.S. economy fared better with inflation, which, by the way, is a worldwide phenomenon. Did not just happen here, happened everywhere. And compared to the rest of the G7 nations, America got out of inflation the best. Side note, 16 Nobel economists see Trump inflation bomb. All right, what does this mean? So 16 economist who won the Nobel Prize said that Trump released an insane economic plan a couple of days ago. They reviewed it and they said if this were to happen, it would be a disaster. Inflation would rise, prices would rise because there'd be tariffs on incoming goods, and it would be awful for the economy. So Biden handled the economy, Trump wants to destroy it. Number 8, Republicans keep trying to make immigration happen. Every election cycle since 2016, there has been a migrant caravan.
8,000 migrants head towards our southern border.
There's going to be one this summer, perhaps in the fall. It's not going to work. Americans are not scared of our immigrant brothers and sisters. And when it comes to the things like abortion, and democracy, it has been found that voters care more about that issue. And immigration, though something that can kind of strike into the hearts and minds of Americans in a way that I don't fully understand, it's not a winning issue for Republicans, and they keep trying to make it happen, and it's not happening.
That is so fetch. Gretchen, stop trying to make fetch happen. It's not going to happen.
Number 9, Democrats are more scared of Trump than Trump supporters are scared of Biden. That means there is an intensity gap between Trump supporters and Biden supporters. Biden supporters are more scared that if Trump were to win than if Biden were to win. And yes, I know Trump has more fervent support. His supporters are a much smaller, condensed bunch. And I think that helps Biden in November. Joe Biden raised a crap load of money in the very beginning of this cycle. He used that money to invest wisely in infrastructure, voter contact, digital advertising, and he's running a real campaign, a campaign that is methodical. It has goals. It has structure. They know about when they want to bring up certain topics. We'll see this in full force of the debate, where Biden is actually practicing what he wants to say, how he's going to say it. Trump isn't practicing at all. And I think this is going to hurt Trump, because though Trump is maybe raising a little bit more money now, what he's going to be able to do? He can basically just buy more advertising. And advertising works up until a point. And when your opponent is spending nearly the same amount as you do, it's not as impactful. So I think that early investment is going to be the story of the election in November when Biden wins. The things they did early on that Trump didn't do. That's all I got. So just remember, Biden, though the media wants it to feel close, it is in their interest to make it seem close, because they want to sell advertisers, and the only way they can sell to advertisers is for them to make sure that you're glued to the TV, you're on your screen, you're paying attention. But this thing is not nearly as close as it seems. It seems close now because not a lot of people are paying attention. Biden won before. He's going to win again. Biden is the only person who has defeated Trump at the ballot box. Regardless whether or not Trump wants to admit that, Biden did it. And Trump has never defeated Biden. I'd much rather be with the person who has won than the person who has been proven to lose.
I don't know what's wrong with you young people. You think you just fell out of a coconut tree?